because they have another right back that we're interested in, Sergino Dest, who made his second straight appearance for Barcelona this preseason. Saturday in El Clásico against Real Madrid in Arlington, Texas. Barcelona won the game 3-0. That was about the only good news for Dest. He was subbed on in the second half, played the last 28 minutes. According to producer Beto, who's a Barcelona fan, he was, quote, bad in his matchup against Vinicius Jr. After the game, reports surfacing that Barcelona are considering a buyout of Dest if they can't find a team to take the American. Herc, what do you say? Is this performance the last straw for Sergino Dest at Barcelona?
No, it's not the last straw. And this performance only proves one thing, that it will be Ronald Araujo playing as a right back when Vinicius Jr. steps on the field against Barcelona again, because he's the only one that's been able to somewhat mark him. Only one game has Vinicius Jr. had some success against Ronald Araujo in an official game. This wasn't the game. It was probably against Arsenal, the game before, that Sergino Dest probably lost out that confidence to Xavi. That's a reality. Now, the reason we are hearing about this mutual buyout of the contract is because that's the thing that's holding up Sergino Dest from playing a lot of places. It's that sell price and that salary. That's a reality. He was a Ronald Koeman guy, highly touted, comes in. They spent over $20 million on him as a right back. When there were teams like Bayern Munich, there were teams like Juventus, PSG after him. It was Barcelona where he ended up playing. And when things didn't go well at Barcelona, these teams were still hovering around. And it was a loan move to Milan, and it didn't work. But right now, a lot of what's scaring teams off happens to be the financials. So that could be the best case scenario for both. But in terms of what you're asking, it wasn't this game. Vinicius Jr. is one of the best 1v1 players in the world. You didn't need Vinicius Jr. skinning Sergino Dest in 14 minutes constantly to tell you that he wasn't the guy to mark Vinicius Jr. or that he's not a good player or anything else like that. It's Vinicius Jr. He's just not a Barcelona player right now. And I think there are a few things as evident in the world that I've seen as Sergino Dest needs to leave.
Yeah, so I was at this game. I was fortunate enough to be there, just an incredible atmosphere, and I was actually between the benches. So obviously I'm keeping an eye on everybody, but when Dest checks into the game, and even in the pre-match warm-up, I had a specific eye on him. And then when he went into the game, I really watched Xavi and the technical staff. And it's not the play that we showed there where he's backpedaling and Vinicius Jr. Almost scores, gets him on skates in the penalty area. There was a play maybe 5 minutes after Dest got in on the near sideline right in front of me where he gets kind of drawn up, trying to make a play on the ball. The ball gets played in behind, and I saw that frustrated spin from Xavi where he just kind of spun back towards the bench, and some of his assistants seemed to share in that frustration. So I don't know that moment is what cost Sergino Dest, but it was definitely a visible sign of the frustration that Xavi and the staff at Barcelona have when it comes to Sergino Dest. I'm looking at the list here, Herc, because when I was watching Dest, it reminded me of watching Weston McKennie for Juventus, and it just seems like a guy who's out of place. And I asked Casey Keller this because there's a long list of guys who need a move here. Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Balogun still potentially looking for his home, Sergino Dest, Matt Turner. Who are you most urgent to find a home for?
Who am I most urgent to find a home for? Repeat the list you just gave me. I had it on the tip of my tongue.
Adams, McKennie, Balogun, Dest, Turner. Five starters.
It's Tyler
there.
Adams. Tyler Adams is the one. Yeah, that I'm most desperate for him to find. And then there seems to be a relegation release clause in his contract, and you still can't get something going. This is the captain of the U.S. men's national team, a clear standout at the World Cup. He was the darling of everybody in that World Cup, the youngest captain at the World Cup, a player who just has so much upside, and yet here we are. Today, he's a championship player. Today, he's playing for Leeds in the championship. This, to me, is the biggest waste of talent in the U.S. men's national team pool, his talent being in the championship level. He needs to go somewhere and go somewhere fast.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.